I'll pick it up from here, David. Thanks for helping me out. The NCAA has passed the Jim Harbaugh rule just because we are talking about him, and I think it's kind of foul. I'm going to use that exact term because he's a genius. He thought of this, and then now all of a sudden they're taking it away. It prohibits schools from practicing away from team facilities. Remember that he took the Wolverines to Florida for a week last spring. Now, what is your reaction to this, Paul?
Well, he is smart, and he has been different, Kerry. I'll give you that. But what he did last year, in my mind, was a blatant attempt at just drawing attention. And it was, I wouldn't say it was unfair or illegal, because at the time it wasn't, but it was all about recruiting. Now, I'll give Jim credit for this. They shot this rule down, and he was able to get one more in a week. He's taking his team for the final week of spring practice after the spring game to Rome, which to me is very unique. At least the players are getting something that they may never have gotten before, an educational experience that they're going to go and hear the Pope, which I would love to do, and I think any person who's interested and curious would, but it has nothing to do with football.
Paul, what do you mean he was wanting attention? What do you mean by that? To show that
well,
he was more smart,
year,
or he was clever?
Listen,
or?
Kerry, everything Jim Harbaugh has done has reeked of wanting attention, and it has helped. And I'm not to keep corresponding Herman to Harbaugh, but they're both innovators. Nick Saban was, Urban Meyer, Urban and Nick are. So you have to be different. You can't just be boring and attract the minds and win the minds of a 17-year-old these days. So everyone is trying something new. I think Harbaugh is getting a little tired. I think he's grasping for straws. He's like that comedian who just can't get laughs anymore, so he resorts to making fun of the audience. When that doesn't work, they usually find someone else to do it. I'm not saying it's over for him. He's had a good run in 2 years, but instead of trying to come up with new tricks, instead of trying to come up with non-funny jokes about eggs on Easter, I would try to come up with a way to stop Ohio State in the red zone. That may have given him a shot at the national championship last year.
Okay, so no more of the fun and games. Focus on what the X's and O's is the message from Feinbaum.
Be a championship coach. Quit finishing third in your division, Kerry. That's what I'm saying. All
right, so with that being said, how long do you think he'll do this? And by this, I mean stay at the collegiate level. Will he make it back to the NFL?
Ultimately, I think he'll go back to the NFL, because even today, and forget what I've just got through saying, we're talking about college football, he would be a coveted NFL coach. I would imagine the 49ers would like to have him back after firing him. They've been through a couple of coaches since then. So, I mean, I think 2 years from now, if he still hasn't beaten Urban Meyer, and quite frankly, I don't think he will have done so, or win a championship, which you can't do unless you go through Ohio State, then I think Jim Harbaugh will say, enough of the fun and games. I'm going back to the NFL.
Make sure I'm around when you two interview one another. It's going to be good.
I think it would be great, don't you?
I think, man, you're not holding back. Say what you mean, Paul. Paul Feinbaum joining us here on SportsCenter Coast to Coast. Thank you so much. David.